Good afternoon, everybody. Hey. Welcome to Bearbackers. Had another really good week for the Bears and Sugar Bears. We went 4-1 on the week with one of our teams winning twice. I did a little math this morning, which is not good for me, but I did it anyway. Our men's, women's soccer, volleyball, and football conference games this fall, we are 22-6-3. Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive by all four sports. And now, if you can believe it, we're a week away today from basketball season starting. Sugar Bears next Monday, Bears on Tuesday. Looking forward to both of those for sure. This week's schedule. Tonight, Nathan Brown Coaches Show at Walk-Ons at 7 p.m., also on Buzz 2, 106.7. Our men's golf team is at Florida Atlantic down in West Palm Beach today and tomorrow. Volleyball plays at North Alabama, 6 p.m. in Florence on Wednesday. Friday, our men's and women's cross-country teams run in the ASUN Championship down in Jacksonville, Florida, Friday morning. We'll have Josie here next week to wrap that up for us. Saturday, tennis plays in the Tulsa Invitational. Volleyball Sugar Bears host Jacksonville at noon at the Prince Center. Softball hosts Ole Miss in a fall game at noon at Natalie Schock Stadium. And football makes its second trip to Utah in as many years. Take on the Utah Tech Trailblazers at 3 p.m. our time from St. George, Utah. We'll start today with volleyball. Speaking of the team that won twice, Sugar Bears swept both Queens and West Georgia 3-0 at home on Friday night, Sunday afternoon at the Prince Center. Two very thorough victories. That makes us 9-1 in the ASUN, 6-0 at home at the Prince Center. We have 6 matches left, 1 on the road Wednesday, 3 straight at home, and then 2 to finish the season on the road. Again, at North Alabama on Wednesday, then at home at noon Saturday versus Jacksonville. Women's soccer closed out the regular season with a 2-1 win over North Alabama last Saturday. That makes us 8-1-2 in ASUN play, and that secured the number 2 seed for the tournament for us. We get 2 byes to the semifinals with our first game not until next Thursday, not this Thursday, but next, November 7th, down in Fort Myers, Florida. On our side of the bracket, Bellarmine and Austin Peay play a first-round matchup on this Thursday. Winner faces Lipscomb this coming Sunday, and that winner plays the Bears next Thursday. Championship game is set for Sunday, November 10th, down in Fort Myers. Men's soccer team lost 2-1 to Florida Gulf Coast on Friday in their next-to-last regular season game. They finished the regular season on Saturday down in Jacksonville, Florida. Their ASUN tournament begins Saturday, November 9th at the campus sites. 6 of the 8 teams in the conference make the field. 3 have clinched a spot, and we're now in 4th place. So we're right there. One more win would be really nice. Good luck to the Bears this weekend. And as I said, basketball season is upon us. Doesn't seem like it ought to be that time of year yet, but it is. We're glad to have Coach John Shulman here with us for the first time. The Bears will open the season next week with a flourish, playing at 2 Big 12 opponents back-to-back, at BYU on Tuesday and at Utah on Thursday. 2 other Power 4 opponents on the schedule this year, at Oklahoma and play Arkansas down at Simmons Bank Arena in North Little Rock. We have 3 scholarship players back, 5 total from last year. Key returnees are Elias Cato and Glory Etim. Going to need big years from both of those gentlemen. Some highly touted freshmen and newcomers. I'll let Coach Shulman talk more about his guys. First home game set for Wednesday, November 13th at the Ferris Center. And now for the first time, let's hear from Coach John Shulman.
I did not schedule those games. They were here when I got here. I'm not going to use the mic if y'all don't mind. This is my first time. Last time I was in here, I was in tears because I just accepted the job, and I'm still in tears for other reasons. Because that schedule. Listen, I appreciate y'all being in here. Our teams, I went, Friday, I saw Coach Brown. Friday, we did the volleyball and the soccer swings. It's amazing. You know, thanks a lot for putting a lot of pressure on us to try to win in the winter, because y'all done a great job in the fall. we're taking over a unique situation here. And, Amy, how you doing?
I'm good.
Pickleball good? All right, it's good. We're taking over a unique situation here. I haven't had a ton of success in men's basketball, and might as well just talk about it. And we're coming in to change the culture, change everything about the program. We've only got three returnees, really 4 returnees from last year, 3 that played. So it's a brand new team, it's a brand new system, it's a brand new program. We have been pounding. It's kind of like, I explain this to you. Yeah, like someone that does a sculpture. They pound on that piece of rock for 104 times, and it looks like a rock. They pound that 105th time, everything falls apart, it's a beautiful statue. We've been pounding on that rock since March 17th. And boy, it looks like a piece of rock. And for whatever reason, yesterday at about 2 o'clock, down in Monticello, Arkansas, where I don't even know where that is. I just got on the bus and went down there. Very unique. I don't know how you recruit there. You take a right to go to school. There's a big cow pasture right there. All right? So I was at the right place. At 2 o'clock yesterday, we scrimmaged Grambling, who went to an NCAA tournament last year and actually won an NCAA tournament game last year. And for whatever reason, we hit that thing 105th time yesterday. We saw some fruits of our labor. We won 85-67 against a really good basketball team. And for the first time, we need some applause. I need some applause, please. Tony will tell you, I've been in depression now since March 17th. We've worked really hard. We just hadn't seen any positivity come from our work. And but what do? You just keep working. There's nothing else you can do. You just got to keep working, because if you don't, you'll get nothing. So even if you don't see it, you just got to keep working, and that's what we've done. And we did that yesterday. Lane Taylor is a freshman from Farmington, top 20 point guard in the country. Was out yesterday. Did not play in the scrimmage. He'll be back soon, hopefully by BYU. Ty Robinson, who's a top 35 2 guard in the country, really good player. He did not participate yesterday in the scrimmage. He's out with some leg issues. He'll be back here soon. So we had some guys step up. We had some guys you don't even know step up. And you know, we tried to win the game yesterday. And we just didn't play the game, tried to win the game. And it was fun to see our guys progress. And so, I don't know, listen, we open at BYU, they're a top 20 program in the country. You know, this beautiful game of college athletics that we're all dealing with right now, they're getting ready to get the #1 player in the country from Utah. They're getting ready to get him. Why are they going to get him? Because they're going to pay him $7 million. That's legal, I guess. And so BYU has a lot of money. They got a lot of tradition. They got a top 10 pick in the NBA draft plan for them. Will be a freshman for them this year and will be gone next year. We're going to go out there, we're going to go out there to get better. We don't have to beat BYU to go to the NCAA tournament. And I'm just going to be honest with you. Our goal, we have one goal and one goal only. And whether we achieve that goal, I don't know. Our goal is to is to cut down the nets to go to the NCAA tournament. We don't have another goal. We don't have a goal. We're going to try to finish in the top part of the league. I don't care about the top part of the league. I care about one position in the league, and that's the #1 spot in the league. And I know that's crazy talk, and that's fine. If you get to know me, I'm nuts. I'm crazy. And so that's why I guess they liked me, because I was crazy enough to feel like we could come in here and rebuild this program to go to the NCAA tournament. And that's the plan, and that's the only plan that we got, and that's our only vision we got. Whether it happens this year, next year, it doesn't matter. We're going to get there. It's just, I don't know. It may take some time. Well, this year's time may be from now till January 2nd, when we have Eastern Kentucky coming in to the Ferris Center on January 2nd, and that's when the ASUN tournament starts. Remember, all you got to do This ain't football. No offense, Nate. All right? All you got to do is be able to win 3 games in March. That's it. You got to get in position. You got to win 3 games in March. So you cannot lose your team on November the 5th when we play BYU at BYU and then go to Salt Lake right after the game and get ready to play Utah 2 days later. What an unbelievable opportunity for our kids to get better, to get older, to get stronger. That one will not affect what we do in March. And that's why you play a preseason schedule. Before I'm done, because I know, Tony, you said you got practice at 4:30. You didn't want me talking till 4:30. But as I'm looking around, most of you don't probably have jobs, so it doesn't matter. You spend all day here. All right. What y'all have any questions for me? Like I said, I'm nuts, and it's okay. We've enjoyed our time in Conway. We appreciate y'all. We look forward to seeing you November 13th. November 13th, we open November 13th. We may be beaten battered, but I guess we have to play the game. We'll see you November 13th. Thank y'all very much.
Coach, I've got a Monticello story for you. No offense, Matt, wherever you are. When I was at the newspaper, this was 35 years ago, I went down to interview their football coaches. Tommy Barnes was their head coach. And we're sitting in his office, and behind him is a big deer head on the wall. And I said, well, that's a pretty impressive deer head. Where'd you get that? And he said, about 50 yards out that door. On campus. Shot a deer on campus.
I know that my boss is from Monticello. I apologize. I have no idea, but it's a beautiful place. If you love cattle and farmland, it's a beautiful area.
The pond's fun also. Oh, yeah. A lot of us have been to Monticello over the years, believe me.
Well, he was smart enough to come to our farm, so there we go.
Unlike the basketball Bears, the Sugar Bears returned almost everyone. 10 returnees, 2 newcomers on this year's roster. So who are you, how are you doing? Let me look at a program. We returned 95% of our minutes played from last year, which I think has to rank pretty high around the country. 3 Sugar Bears were named to the preseason All-ASUN team. Randria Wright, Kenley Fisher, and Jade Upshaw, and Bree Stevens were named the preseason co-defensive player of the year in the conference. UCA tips off the season a week from today, taking on our old friends from across town, the Hendricks Warriors, 6:30 at the Fair Center. Also at home next Friday against Sanford at 11 a.m. for Education Day, or as we call it, Screaming Kids Day. 11 a.m. at the Fair Center. I'm going to be on the road with men, and I kind of hate to miss the Screaming Kids Day. Not really. We have more than, 800, Kristen? 800 plus kids coming? It's going to be a madhouse, but it's going to be a lot of fun. For the season preview, let's hear from Coach Tony Kemper.
First thing I will do is just confirm how crazy that Coach Shulman is. It's accurate, 100%. We go through some ups and downs together, don't we? I listen a lot. That's why I knew that I wanted to try to speed him up for everybody involved, because you just never know. You might get stuck, but he's going to do a really good job. He's a really good basketball coach. You can tell that if you go watch him practice, and just like. What's your shuffle? Is it shuffle series? What's it called?
Princeton stuff.
Princeton, but he's famous with it. I mean, he's like on Twitter all over the place. So I would anticipate they're going to score a lot because that's what Twitter thinks. But I think definitely improvements on the way for sure. So we're lucky to have him. Second thing, off topic, and you kind of touched on this. I think it's awesome what all of our fall sports are doing. Basically, every sport is in a position to win championships, and that's pretty cool as a school. I think when I came from Marshall, it's one of the things I talked about here, is that was my memory of what UCA got done athletically. And boy, we're in a good place right now. And it's really hard to do. I mean, sometimes coaches make it look easy. Coach Parsons makes it look easy sometimes, and it's not. So for them to put themselves in that spot, and then like Coach said, you got to go win like 3 games to get where you want to go. And at this level, that's what you have to do. It all comes down to, for most of us, how we play in those tournaments. So it's going to be an exciting couple weeks here, watching everybody else. So fast forward to us. We do kick off or tip off Monday. Excited about that. We do have an old crew. I think it's pretty awesome that I started talking late last year, like we got to get them all to stay, and it's not set in stone that that's going to happen. And we have, if you watched them play last year, they're pretty much back, and that's exciting. They're an old crew. Some days, and the coaches in here will understand that, some days that's not a great thing because they're like, Coach, it's August, and you're trying to get me in a stance, and you're telling me it really matters, but I know that you're just screaming and yelling, you know? And so we've had some days like that where it's like I can tell I got an old crew. But, boy, we've really kind of picked it up here in the last couple weeks. We've had a couple scrimmages. We scrimmaged Dodge City Community College in here, and I felt like walking away from that, we need to get a lot better. I think that was good for our team to figure that stuff out. We had another one a week ago maybe now at Arkansas State. Thought we played a lot better. And really, since Arkansas State, we've just been getting concussions, quite frankly. We've had 4 in the last 2 weeks, so we're trying to get healthy, honestly. We're a little bit more banged up than last year. We only have 12. Last year we had 13 and basically no injuries, and it was smooth sailing all year. And we just had little things, so it's been hard to, I think, build rhythm, I think is what I would call it, in getting better. But the last couple weeks, I think I really see some progress with them. Steve talked about, we do have 3 preseason all-conference players. That is Randrea Wright, our point guard, Kinley Fisher, she was the 6th woman of the year in the league last year. She plays everywhere for us, super smart. She's really grown consistency-wise. And then Jade Upshaw, which if you've seen us, Jade's electric. I mean, she can absolutely score. She can hit 9 points in 3 possessions, and she does it often, and that makes you look pretty smart from my standpoint. But really, you're just letting her play. But she's very electric scoring the ball. And then Bree Stevens was preseason Defensive Player of the Year, which honestly kind of surprised me. I mean, as a coach, you reward kids, you put them up for awards. I know how important she is to us, but I wasn't sure that anybody else felt that way, if that makes sense. And she impacts the game all over the place. She's probably our best passer. We run, if we need a tough pass in a tight window late in the game, it's going to go through Bree. Blocks a lot of shots. Never gets in a stance. I give her a little, I poke her a little bit. She's the only defensive player in the country preseason that's never been in a defensive stance. But she's super long, and she knows how to fix problems. She's really smart she kind of sees the whole thing play out, and she can fix problems. So lucky to have her. And there's others. I mean, Leah Mafua she's an animal, and she's not on there. And we'll play through her a lot at the end of a game. So I think Cheyenne Kemp's had a really good fall, which we need those younger ones to be progressing, while we do have 6 seniors that play a lot. And I see a lot of growth in her. Like the freshman, Jenna Cook from Cabot, she's one of the toughest kids I've ever coached. She wins every sprint, and that's fun for the future. She's learning behind a lot of really good players, so that's exciting. We do have Screaming Kids Day, 11 a.m. I like those early tips. I was telling Coach Brown that because you don't have to wait around all day to figure out how we're going to play. You learn right away. You eat breakfast, and it's like, okay, we're going to play good, But that's happening. Sanford's very good, picked in the top 3 in their league. Then we go to Tennessee Martin, who's picked to win the OVC. So it's a really good schedule for us early. Have a couple really good games. On paper, K-State's the best team that we've played in a while. I don't know what their preseason ranked, but it's very high. I mean, they've got probably the best center in the country. They beat Iowa last year at Iowa. They're good. They'll be a handful at Oklahoma State, at Arkansas as well. So not a lot of home games early. So that first week, get in there and see us because it'll be a little bit before we get back. So appreciate y'all being here. Go support all these other sports that are going on. And any questions for me? Right on. Go Sugar Bears.
4 concussions. That's Nate. Have y'all had that many this year?
Yeah, sometimes they hit each other.
I'm not sure Nate's had that many.
1 play and 2 out.
That is crazy. Football Bears took care of business last week on homecoming. A great crowd, great atmosphere, a very opportunistic defense in a 24-19 win over North Alabama. Defense forced 5 turnovers. We had no turnovers. That's huge. David Walker did David Walker stuff. He had 9 tackles, 6 solos, 3 tackles for loss, had half a sack, forced 3 fumbles, which is a school record, recovered 1 of those. He also broke Jonathan Woodard's career tackle for loss career record. He now has 54 and a half of those. He's done that in 2.5 seasons, which is just nuts. He's also close to breaking career sack record, also held by Jonathan Woodard. This morning, the Reese's Senior Bowl named David Walker the National Defensive Player of the Week, which for an FCS player to get that is unheard of. So pretty impressive stuff. He may also be named he better be named the UAC Defensive Player of the Week later on today. If not, there's something wrong. Redshirt freshman wide receiver Malachi Henry had 2 touchdown catches. Junior linebacker Jace Banesh was all over the place, a career-high 15 tackles. All in all, just a good solid win. Puts us at 6-2 overall, 3-1 in the UAC standings. Those standings are pretty tight right now. Tarleton State's 4-0, Abilene Christian's 4-1, UCA and Southern Utah are 3-1, North Alabama's 3-2. So a pretty good log jam at the top of those standings. This Saturday, it's back to Utah, take on Utah Tech for the first time. Game time is 3 p.m. our time from St. George, Utah, which is about 50 miles south of where we were last year in Cedar City when we played Southern Utah. Trailblazers are 0-9 overall, 0-5 in the UAC, but they played their last 2 opponents fairly close, Austin Peay and EKU. Number 9 and what was the other one? 9 and 11 in the 2 polls this week, so still hanging right there in the top 10. And I'm going to turn it over to Coach Nathan Brown.
It's good to see all you here today. I think the anticipation of basketball probably brought a few more folks here, so that's exciting. We're having a good time with the fall sports, and again, I say that all the time. UCA's kind of what Coach Kemper said. I mean, just the expectation level here for success is always at a high rate, and so it's an honor to be a part of that. First thing I want to do is thank everybody that came out for homecoming. What an unbelievable atmosphere, crowd. We also married that with an unofficial and official visits with recruits. So when you step out as a recruit in a family and you see the atmosphere, and I think some of that's just pregame stuff, right? The energy and build up to a game. I mean, that's a big deal. And I know other sports had some recruits and different things here as well. To be able to marry that with obviously the football game and the pageantry that comes along with it, that's what it's supposed to look like. I mean, bottom line, and I know I say that a lot, and we've had great crowds throughout the year, but that's what it's supposed to look like, and that's so encouraging. There's probably, I don't know, 2,000 or 3,000 people that never even came in the game, which is awesome. I mean, I want them to come in, but I'm just glad they're here. They're here supporting and obviously, building camaraderie around the university and around the athletic program. So we were happy to come away with a win. Again, at this point in the season, it's about hold and serve. Coach Shulman and I are back there joking. It's pretty easy to win games, isn't it? I mean, it's easy. Just you can roll the ball out there and just win games every week. And it's funny because that is kind of a joke in the coaching world. Like, it's really hard to win football games, the team we played in the University of North Alabama is a well-coached team by Coach Dearman, and a highly respected coach in the profession and what he does offensively, the coaching staff that he's built, some of the recruits and transfers and high school kids that he's been able to attract to Florence, Alabama. They were on a 3-game win streak, and again, Steve mentioned Abilene Christian a second ago. They were coming off of a top 10 win against Abilene Christian, so we knew we were going to get resistance. We knew that we were going to have to play good football. And I'll tell you the difference in the game is plain and simple, and Steve mentioned it, was 5 turnovers to 0. I mean, when you're +5 in the turnover margin, you're going to win most games. And that's a testament to, one, our defense creating turnovers, but two, our offense not turning the ball over on our end. And so what I was glad is we had a very attacking mentality on defense, and we really went to punch the ball out. We really went to attack the interceptions, right? We had 2 other interceptions that were just straight dropped. That we had chances to have as well. So very proud of the way that we played. I thought we played a dominant night of defense. Coach Stacks and our defensive staff put together a great plan. Our players went and executed. I sat up here last week and said to y'all, if we can get through the dozen plays of fluff, the junk plays, I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's something we call polecat in the football world. And it's where you split your offensive lineman out wide and you keep a small base in the middle of the formation right by the center. They did that 9 times on Saturday. And so that's different. You got to get lined up to that. They're doing it with tempo. And their first touchdown was actually a double reverse pass out of it. And we did not stay assignment sound, and they got us, right? But when we forced them just to play football, our defense was very dominant. Didn't give up much yards rushing. Didn't give up. Obviously turned them over multiple times, and put ourselves in a great position as far as that goes. I also said on defense they were going to have probably a dozen blitzes that were tough. We did not do a very good job in the first half of handling their blitz game. And some of that's due to Will and his mobility right now. He's battling a tough ankle injury, and he's battling through it. I mean, you're talking about a kid that's almost thrown for 11,000 yards in his career. He don't want to come out. This is his last run, and it took him a little bit of time, and our offensive line shored it up in the second half to give him more time, and that's when you saw more success happening. I also was very proud of the way that we finished that football game. We had a chance there. 2 weeks ago, I guess 3 weeks ago now, West Georgia week, they had the ball to take it down to try to go tie the game, right? Or at least go for 2 to tie the game. Well, we gave up a touchdown. We gave up a touchdown in a 2-minute situation. Well, their offense this week had the chance to do the same thing. What did we do? We resulted in a turnover this week. So that's big. That's going to bode well for our confidence, for our players. And just finishing a game like that is obviously a plus. I went home on Saturday night and I watched South Dakota State play South Dakota on national TV. So that's 2 weeks in a row where an FCS game has been on national TV on ESPN2 or ESPNU. And it's funny because I'm an offensive coach, so you know what bothers me more than anything is only scoring 24 points. Like I want to score 44 points. I want to score 54 points. That was the first game we've scored under 30 points all year. So we've been doing a good job. But I was frustrated, right? I go home and then I watch South Dakota versus South Dakota State, and obviously South Dakota State won that game in overtime. But I watched it and it was just one of those Midwest slobber knockers, right? Back and forth, just physical, big dudes, just like a heavyweight fight. And I'm sitting there watching it like, man, that was a beautiful game. I mean, it was literally like just battle, just 2 good heavyweights battling. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, man, I know that South Dakota State's coach is glad to get out of that game with a win, right? They hold serve. They're going to stay in the top 2 or 3 in the polls. They've won 2 straight national championships, all those things. And it kind of recalibrated my mind to sit there and go, I bet he's going home, could care less they only scored 17 points. You know what I mean? Like, you're talking about one of the best teams in the country scored 17 points. Like, come on, man. You got to be better than that, coach. He don't care. So it's kind of helped me out sit there and go as an offensive coach, man, this team held us to under 100 yards rushing. Hadn't been held under 200 yards rushing all year. So North Alabama had our number. But you know what's exciting is we found a way to win. Found a way to win when a certain area wasn't clicking. And so that's what I'm excited about is we find different ways to win. Okay, we can go score a lot of points. We can stop an offense on our defensive play. We've won tight games. We won 2 tight games in a row. We've blown out teams. So we're in a good spot of playing all parts of the game. And so as we push to November, we're playing for meaningful games. Every week now means more, right? Because of what we've done to this point, being 6-2, 3-1 in the conference. Top 10 ranked team in the country. If you would have told me that preseason, I'd probably take it 10 out of 10 times. And so what that means is every game this November, which is 4 games, as far as what we're guaranteed, means more, and it's important, and it's something that our players have to stay motivated for. Before I shift to Utah Tech, I'll be really quick. The one thing that, and I said this in our post-game press conference, I was asked a question like, what's going to keep, what's the keys to this November? What's the keys to this last 4-game stretch? And I said, one, that was obviously health. Like Shunderick Powell wasn't fully healthy Saturday night. His hamstring was knotted up pretty good. Darius Hale's continuing to battle an ankle. Jordan Owens has scored the first touchdown. He's battling an elbow. There's a lot of guys battling stuff, but everybody's doing that. But I think more importantly than even staying healthy is staying hungry, right? Staying hungry, because it's not – look, football, any sport you play, I don't care if you're playing for something or you're playing for nothing, the later you get in the year, it's not as fun as it was week 1. It's just not. Your body's sore. The monotony is set in. It's getting closer to the holidays. I mean, you name a distraction, it's there. And so are we going to stay hungry? Because if we stay hungry, there's not a team on our schedule in the next 4 weeks that we can't beat. Now, doesn't mean we're going to beat them, but there's not a team we can't beat. And if we stay motivated, if we stay hungry, and we keep pushing that consistency and detail every day during the week to get better for Saturday, I like our shot, because we've got a talented team. And we've got a really skilled group of guys. And I think we've got a good core of really talented players in the right spots. So I'm excited for this month of football. We put ourselves in a great spot. But again, it's going to be about continuing to improve and not being at a point of peaking. I want our guys to continue to improve as we get into this latter part of the season. Utah Tech, obviously a winless football team right now. But like Steve mentioned, they figured out something the last 2 weeks. They've been in basically one possession games the last 2 weeks, and that's against EKU and against Austin Peay, 2 pretty good programs. The scary part about this game is obviously the travel. I'll tell you this is a perfect example, and this is something we talked about as a coaching staff last night. I would be willing to bet, you guys that are fans, and you probably recognize both of these teams, I would be willing to bet that an undefeated Liberty team going to Kennesaw State who hadn't won a game last week, Liberty probably thought they were going to roll the ball out there and win the game. And Kennesaw State went and beat them. A winless Kennesaw State beat a borderline top 25 FBS team last week. And that's what you've got to continue to remind yourself. Anybody can beat anybody at any point, right? And that's what our guys have got to realize. They've got good coaches. Their head coach was an assistant coach at Stanford the last few years. He's got a great pedigree. He's brought an attitude to that program. He's having to rebuild the program a little bit, and they're playing some young players, and I think they're going through some growing pains, and that's fine. It's not from a lack of talent, speed, size. They've got all that. They just haven't figured out how to push it over the top and get a win. And so we've got to do a good job on a long road trip. We're not used to getting on a plane and flying. I mean, when you're talking about taking a full football travel party and putting all your equipment on a plane and the logistics of that and all that, that's not something we do every week. So there's some different approach to this week than we've had normal weeks. So that scares you as a coach, right? It's changing your routine up. It's changing, we're going to a totally separate, different climate, right? It's going to be a little more elevated. It's going to be a little cooler out there than what we're used to. I mean, you just be 70 degrees, and my southern kids think it's 30. You know what I mean? Like, they'll be bundled up with hoodies, and I mean, it's a 70-degree day. I'm out there just loving it, So there's some concern. It's going to be windy. I mean, there's just a lot of things that could factor into this. But I'll tell you this: our guys are going to be prepared. We're going to have 3 great weeks of practice, and we're excited about the opportunity again to go out west and play a conference game, and hopefully come back and be 7-2 and 4-1. And if we're in that position going into week 10, man, we're in a good spot. We're in a good spot, and so we're working hard to get to that, and I like where we're at as far as attitude and mentality right now as a football team. So any questions? Yes, sir.
Coach, going back to North Alabama.
Yes, sir.
Was their rush defense physically that much more superior than what you've seen before? Were they doing something different? And were they doing something different than how you're going to see going forward for the team? No,
I think they've done what a lot of teams have done, and that's load the box. They've got an extra hat in the box, and I think that's why we were able to take some of those quick throws and make big plays out of them because it was literally one-on-one on the outside. If we made one guy miss, like Malachi Henry's touchdown, I mean, he made one guy miss on a hitch route and took it 69 yards. I do think they had good safeties. I do think they were better tacklers than I was anticipating. I think some of that's due to a couple running backs that weren't full health. I think Shunderick probably makes, on that long run in the first half, I don't know if you noticed, but he kind of just ran out of bounds. I mean, usually he's going to outrun those guys. They're not going to have an angle. He's done it all year. He scored, 15 touchdowns, 16 touchdowns. He kind of ran out of bounds about the 10-yard line because he felt his hamstring kind of tighten up. So I think some of the scheme, I think they did a good job with their front. North Alabama is built different than some teams we played. So most of the teams we played this year are really long. So like West Georgia, I was commenting on number 21 and number 12, their defensive ends. They look like avatars. I mean, they were like 6'5", unbelievable bodies. North Alabama, they were just these almost David Walker-like bodies. Now, obviously, I don't think they didn't have a David Walker, but they were really tightly wound guys. They were quick twitch. They got on the edge of our offensive line some. So, yeah, we're going to have to make some improvements. I mean, there's some things we've got to do creativity-wise as coaches to give our guys a better chance. But we also just got to block them up. We got to block them up and make that one guy miss. And I think the great part about this year to this point with our rushing attack, which I think even with the subpar rushing performance on Saturday is the top 10 ranked rushing attack in the country, is we've made that one guy miss a lot this year. And we didn't do a very good job of that Saturday. Yes, sir.
Health-wise, how are you?
We're okay. We're okay. Banged up a little bit running back, obviously. I don't think Shunderick's is serious, and he'll be good to go this week. Obviously, with Darius, his has been lingering with his ankle since Lamar game, actually. And he came out and came back in the other night. So did Shunderick. We are in very good shape as far as season-ending injuries go. We haven't had many of those, knock on wood. But we've had some guys that have been put in some spots where they're missing time with practice and just trying to, the hard part this time of year is week management. Because you're trying to get a game plan in, you're trying to get ready to go play a football game, but you're also trying to manage guys' injuries and soreness, and they're having to miss some reps in practice. Well, that's going to show up on Saturdays, and so that's a difficult part once you get into November is how you manage practice. But we're doing okay. We're doing okay. I would say in the grand scheme of things, I mean we're doing really well. We're doing really well. Yes, sir. You got it written down?
Yeah.
Oh.
And you talked about 3 of them. One of the fluff plays.
Yeah.
I would like to understand their offensive line just standing still and running a play.
Yeah.
Does that work?
So that's called the hidden ball trick. And so that is a staple 2A, 3A high school football play in the state of Arkansas. I can promise you everyone. And I say that because that's an old Gus Malzahn runs that play. Dearman's in the Gus Malzahn kind of coaching tree. Once or twice a year they'll throw that out. So all it is you're taking your smallest guy. So it'd be like us taking Manny Smith. And basically you stand your 6'5" offensive lineman straight up with tight ends. And the quarterback, everybody's down, but the center snaps the ball to the quarterback, and everybody just stands there. Nobody even notices that he snapped it, and the quarterback just drops the ball to the kid squatting, and the quarterback then runs out this way with the other tailback to give the illusion that they're going out to the field, and the other kid is taught to sit there for like 3 seconds, and then he's going to burst out the other way. Well, guess what? It got our whole team. Nobody moved. One person moved, David Walker. So David Walker sees it, and he said that he saw the ball snapped, and he kind of just froze, but then he noticed they're running out without the ball. I've seen this before. He went and smoked the guy right in the back, tackled him for a -yard. So I asked David, it's funny I say this, I said, how did you know that? Like you saw him snap the ball, whatever. He goes, Coach, I'm from Stuttgart. We saw that play every week. So, it's just facts, right? But yeah, it's an illusion play. It's a fluff play.
Defensively did well. One more thing, and I'm not a coach, never have been, never played the game, but I don't understand the unsportsmanlike penalties. I think if football is a disciplined game.
Yeah.
And I know players get excited.
Absolutely.
And happy, but I'm scared for you that one of these days, one of those things is gonna come back and bite us.
Yeah, it could, and that's the thing you've got to coach every single day.
And I just
No, absolutely.
crush my soul.
Oh yeah, yeah, and I think football is a unique sport. It's a physical sport where you got a lot of emotions and people. I mean, it's the one sport where you're literally putting your hands on people every play. You're putting your hands on people every play. You're basically like you're in an organized fight every single play. And what we have to do a better job of, and we've done pretty good. We had a little stint there early in the season, then we got better, and then we had Saturday. And again, if we play a team that's as good or better than us, you can't give them any extra yards or any extra opportunities. We have to do a better job of not reacting. That's the growth part. We talk about it every day. You're going to have highly emotional kids. You're going to have kids that play with an edge. You can't have a really good football program without that. But there is a right and a wrong way to do it, and that's something that we're definitely addressing every single day. We're putting a point of emphasis on it. Some of it is just don't respond. Just don't respond. And if you're in a situation where somebody's poking you, you're probably going to get caught if you're the second poke, right? And that's just
I think that did happen.
that happened. It happened, and in the instances that it was called, that's what happened. And so as a kid, you're obviously wanting to defend your take on it. So when I approach the kid or we have the conversation, well, he said did this, he did. I said, I don't care, right? Like it's not about what he did or said. Or I said he could call Coach Brown any name in the book. If you really love me, I don't care. Just walk away. Like it doesn't matter. So yeah, it's constant growth. And I'll tell you that's a tough deal. 18 to 22-year-olds are emotional beings, and that's part of my job to continue to mold these men. And they're good boys. They are. They let their emotions get the best of them sometimes. And look, I let the emotions get the best of me sometimes, and I know when to stop with the referees and when to maybe push it a little more. But that's with 15 years of coaching experience, and that's where those guys have to continue to grow.
Do you think North Alabama coach unduly helped referee staff somewhat? He stayed on the field almost the whole game.
Coach Dearman is he's a very engaged head coach with the referees. Always has been. Some people are that way, and I can be too. I don't want to sit there and say I'm not.
You just kind of looked at him and shook your head and walked off.
Yeah. Well, look. So here's something about me. I take a lot of pride in doing it the right way. We meet with the refs about an hour and a half before the game, so we get a chance. Each head coach gets a chance to meet with the referees. I don't know if most people know that, but we kind of get the rundown and all that. One thing I can promise you this: like when you see Coach Brown heated, when you see me heated in a game, or I'm getting after a referee, and Steve-O can attest to this because he's on the sideline, I will never say anything vulgar. I will never say anything demeaning to those men. It's always just fighting for my players, and obviously it may be boisterous. It may look like more than it really is. But I think at the end of the day, those guys understand that and respect that. I don't know that all coaches do that. I'm not going to say they do or don't. But I tend to pick my battles with the referees. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. Some coaches are right there on the lines, judge the whole game. I mean, like the whole game. I mean, you watch them and they're literally in that guy's ear the whole game. And I don't think that helps you out. I really don't. Now, I do think that we're all human and we can be influenced, right, with certain things being said in our ear and this or that or whatever it is. Don't think for 1 second I'm not going to walk down to the back judge. You'll see, if you ever see me walking, well, I'm not going to talk. I'm going to leave that there. I'm not going to put that out there. I know this is getting filmed. But yeah, I'm always fighting for my players. And maybe he did or didn't. I don't know. But I know our referees do a great job. with our crews and the United Athletic Conference, they're doing the best they can. They're doing the best they can, and we appreciate what they do. And do they get it right all the time? In our opinion, maybe not. Or do they? I thought that last targeting call, I thought it probably should have been upheld, but it wasn't. That's okay. But they do the best they can, and I think that we've got a bunch of good men that are out there being refs. Judge Baker.
Changing the shirt at halftime, is that something we're gonna look forward to?
I don't know, Sam. That was one of the first questions Sam asked me. So this is in my weird sick head. Coach Shulman, I want you to take notes, okay? In my weird sick head, I've got this superstition in my. It's a sickness that actually, if we're not doing well in the first half, I've always got a change or two in my, whether it's in the locker room or wherever it's at, to change, and in some magical way that's going to change the way we play or the outcome. But I'm batting a pretty good percentage on it right now. And so if I'm staying in the same wardrobe going into the second half, you can probably guess that we're doing pretty well. If I come out in a different color shirt, maybe a different hat, I've been known to change shoes. Never changed pants, but I've got this sickness. I'm gonna quote Coach Campbell, Steve Campbell. When I was working for him, he used to say, "I'm so not superstitious, I'm superstitious." And that's the same way. I'm not going to admit I'm superstitious, but I'm sick, but it worked. That black shirt I put on and that different, it's actually this hat, I think. The hat I put on, probably this shirt. I'm not going to take them off. It's got some magic to it. Ron. Oh, yeah. So the semifinals tomorrow against the Jaguars. We won 33-0 last week. So we're rolling. He's doing what he had a pick six in the game, so I was proud. Yeah. All right, I'm going to turn it over to Matt. I know it's time. Thank y'all.
Good afternoon. Hey. How's everybody doing? Fantastic. Good. Coach Kemper, Coach Shulman, great to have you today and looking forward to basketball season. And Coach Shulman, you didn't misspeak on Monticello. Hey, I'm from there, but I understand it's a tough place to get to. And, I don't know if we'll find ourselves back there, but if we do, I'll take you to grab a burger at Ray's. It's a great burger if you get a chance to go by there. So we'll do it. We'll do it. We are excited about basketball season. It's right around the corner, and I know that several in this room are basketball season ticket holders, and we will be getting those out shortly. We are waiting for the package to arrive from FedEx from our printer. However, we've been waiting for about 3 weeks now, and so we've gone through a couple different FedEx drivers, and as you can imagine, delivering to a college campus, they can be dropped off at various different places. But I want you to know we have a plan for Monday, and our ticket office staff will be in contact with you to be sure you don't have any problems getting into the game on Monday. So no concerns. You're going to get them. We know you purchased them and all that. We're getting them to you, I promise. And if you haven't bought tickets already, please know we have some for sale, and we'd love to have you join us in the Fair Center. I'd tell you this. I hope Coach Shulman, Coach Kemper, you don't mind me mentioning this, but if you get a chance to go watch either of the teams practice, I'm going to tell you what, it's a lot of fun, a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, and I think you'd enjoy yourselves and go check them out. And then if you don't have season tickets, then maybe you'll decide to get them then. So
Gene knows when we practice and why we practice, so just see Gene.
That's right.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
I was trying not to draw attention to Gene because I saw the list of questions that he had for Coach Brown. I was worried I might have a list that as well. Okay. Well, hey, one thing real fast, Gino. I just want to recognize table over here, Alan Buckler, Mike Painter, Ronnie Schrader, Jack Evans. Appreciate you guys joining us. Ronnie and Mike are UCA Sports Hall of Fame members, and appreciate you guys being here today. All right, let's go for some questions. Let's go, Dr. Fiddler. How about that? I'm coming back to you, Gene.
Not a question. I'm going to volunteer the rest of the basketball season. Make sure wherever the coach is going, I'm going to give him a heads up on the people that live in that town before he gets there.
Oh. Hey, I got smart. I traded all my green and white for purple and gray.
Love
That's right. That's right. Gino.
ASUN football,
Yeah.
because I think at some point they'd love to have, to be a football conference. Stetson, they're playing other BCS schools, correct?
Stetson plays non-scholarship FCS football, is what non-scholarship FCS football. So they do not offer scholarships in their football program. So they play various teams around the country. They're in the Pioneer League is what they are in, which is all non-scholarship FCS football. I can tell you this, I don't believe they have plans to scholarship that and possibly bring that into the ASUN. Gene, I don't think there's going to be a possibility there. But your question, I'm sure, related to how does ASUN football look? So we have 5 football playing schools within the ASUN, and we partner with 4 football playing schools from the Western Athletic Conference. And so we're at 9 to be able to have the AQ. We, as a conference, the ASUN, we own the AQ. So that's a good thing, right? And obviously you're following along in college athletics. There's a lot of movement. There's still going to be more movement. There's a lot of changes. There's a lot of just things in flux right now in college athletics, the truth of it. And so we're keeping a close eye on that. We would love to see a little bit more security within our ASUN footprint on the football side of things. And there could be some opportunities. I know all conferences across the country are looking at what's going to happen in realignment and trying to stay in front of that. And we're definitely doing that too within the ASUN.
I see them playing Davidson. Is Davidson the same? All that, no scholarship?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
All right. I'm not smart. I didn't know that.
I think they go to San Diego this next weekend.
do?
Yeah. Yep. Stetson. So, yep. It's non-scholarship FCS football. Any other questions? All right. Thank you so much. Let's have a great week. Go Bears. Go Sugar Bears. Bear claws up.